Hey there, welcome to Amanda Yoga, Qigong and Meditation. I'm Amanda, and we're going to do a lovely gentle flow for the stomach and spleen meridians. Here in Brisbane, we're getting to the end of spring, so we're going to be moving into summer soon. And at the end of the season, people might find they're feeling a little sluggish digestively or a little bloated. And this is a really cool little sequence that you can do that can help to relieve discomfort, relieve bloating. It's also really nice on your back and very helpful pranically, because we're going to energize the system and let that help us. We're going to do some breathing, let that help us to release tension and tightness from the stomach, the spleen, the large intestine, maybe even the lungs. We'll see how we go, and particularly abdominal region. Okay, so you don't need much for this practice. A blanket would be handy, a bolster or something that you can sit up on, and we'll use this again a little later, but just let's start using Prithvi Mudra. So this is Earth Mudra, and it's thumb pad to ring finger pad. We're going to join those two together, and we're going to turn palms face up, and we'll close our eyes if that feels comfortable for you, and if not, you can leave your eyes open. And take a couple of breaths here, easy, natural breaths. Turning your attention inward and tuning into your own digestive system, noticing how your bodily system, your food body, your annamaya kosha is processing food right at this moment. And as well sensing into how this whole system, this whole interlinked body-mind is processing life. And it's really helpful to, at this point in our practice, let go of judgment and expectations and tune into our practice with a sense of curiosity. So maybe you could factor curiosity being part of your intention for this day or this practice. And when you're ready, you can tune into the feeling of Prithvi Mudra in your hands and in your body. And maybe connect to the base of your spine, the tip of your tail, sensing into those parts of you that are connected to the earth. Tuning into stability and support. And then sensing the sky and the space all around you, and opening up to the support of the heavens, the gods, the angels, and the guides. And as you take a couple more breaths, sense into this beautiful sense of you being a connector between heaven and earth. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll gently release the mudra. You might like to wriggle your fingers, and you might like to flutter your eyelids open. And so from here, we are going to release off the bolster. So you can put that to the side or maybe to the end of your mat. And we'll take our knees about hip distance apart and our hands about shoulder distance apart, spreading the fingers nice and wide. And then give a little rock forward and back, tuning into your lower back and your belly. Inhale here, Look slightly forward, maybe kick the tail up a little, and then exhale and pull your tail back as you draw your navel to spine and let your heels and your bottom come together. And so we'll inhale and glide up, looking forward, kicking the tail up, and then exhale, round your back and drop your buttocks down. Feel the space between your armpits and the ground, and then inhale one more time, looking forward. Tail is kicking up a tad, and then exhale, gliding back and down. And then from here, drag your hands in underneath your forehead and lay your forehead down. And if this is not going to work in your body, you could flip over onto your back now and draw your knees into your chest. And we'll just use a little bit of the pressure from the thighs to massage our internal abdominal region with the breath. So if you tune into your powers of visualization here and really kind of feel what's happening, as you take a breath in, your diaphragm is doming down into your internal abdominal organs, giving them a bit of a squish, a bit of a squeeze. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm is gently doming back up to tickle the bottom of the lungs. Inhaling. Nice little dome down. And then exhaling and parachuting back up. And then one more of those, inhaling. And exhaling. Good. And then from here, we're going to lift the forehead up. Take the hands onto ground to really support us. And then walk our hands back to our knees. And I know that Vajrasana might not be right for some of you, so you can alter that position. But do grab your blanket here. So we're going to make a little tube. And I would say that a small tube is probably helpful to begin with. So you grab your blanket and you start to roll a tube with your blanket. And for me, about this size is good. About this size. You don't want it too big. And, when I first did this little practice that we're about to do, we did it with blocks. So it was a little bit intense. And this can be a bit intense if you've got some stuff going on. So err on the side of caution, really listen to your body. And if that feels like too much, unravel it and make it a little tiny tube so that it suits your body. So from here, I want this blanket roll to come just underneath my ribs. So my ribs are here, and I'm going to place that blanket roll just underneath to encourage a sense of movement through the stomach and the intestines. So maybe to begin with, it might be helpful to place the upper abdomen onto the blanket roll and come into, say, a Sphinx pose. And breathe into that and notice if it feels uncomfortable, and if it does, maybe unravel that blanket a little. You can pause the video here if you'd like to. And then once you get that size right, we're going to inhale here and then exhale, pop the elbows out and let your hands come down and let your forehead lay on your hands and wriggle your hips, just a gentle little wobble side to side, and refocus on the breath. The diaphragm moving down into your belly. On the inhale, and then gently rebounding back up on the exhale.
So then we're going to add a little bit of rocking here. So when you're ready, just start to slowly rock towards the right and let your left toes turn out a little. There's not a huge movement in the leg, but the left toes will turn out. The left inner ankle will lay down onto the floor, and you'll be slightly to the right on your head. And then inhale, come through center. And then exhale a little sway to the left. So now the left side of the head is more fully on the mat or the hands, and the right toes are turned out. And then inhale, we're swaying to center. And then exhale, just off to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, sway to the left. Inhale, come to center, and then exhale, sway off to the right. And feel what's happening here. One more little sway to the left as you inhale and exhale. And then inhale and come to center, give a little bit of a wobble. Let the body settle and soften a little more fully in towards the blanket roll. Listening to the soft sound of your breath. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift your forehead off your hands and take your hands underneath your shoulders or just beside your breasts, actually a little lower. Inhale, press, and then exhale, come back into child again. Your forehead might not reach the ground because you've got that blanket roll there. And then inhale, come on up. So from here, we're going to take the blanket roll a little further forward because we're going to use it again. We'll take it towards the top of the mat. And this is where we're going to use our bolster. So you're going to bring your bolster in, or a big, maybe about 3 or 4 blankets rolled up together to get that sense of firmness. We're going to unroll this because now we're moving the blanket roll from the belly to underneath the back of the neck. So it doesn't need to be that big. So we're going to unravel that so that the back of the neck can rest there. And then we're going to fold up the back of the blanket because the back of the head is going to rest on there. And I'll show you how I like to come into this. And if that's too much, we can definitely change that. So you just pause the video and make sure that it's the perfect size for you. So I'm coming onto my bolster and I'm going to lay back onto, perfect. I'm laying back onto the blanket roll, so it's supporting my neck. I've got a little bit of that edge of the blanket underneath the back of my head. My sacrum is on the bolster, and that feels pretty good to me. So I'm going to take my feet a little further away because I'm going to come into a bit of a variation of, it's kind of a combination of constructive rest and bridge pose. And I'm going to take my hands onto my tummy. And so, we're going to breathe into our tummy here. And I want you to get a sense of unrestricted movement in your belly. And, when you look at pictures of the Buddha he's got a big smile on his face often. And he's got a big, relaxed belly. So his belly is relaxed. It's not meant to be fat, I don't think. I think it's meant to be nice and relaxed. That's why he looks so happy. So we're gonna get that same sense. So take your hands onto your belly. You can have your eyes open or closed. And begin to take the breath down low into your lower abdomen. Almost like your breath is trying to reach down for the perineum. And exhaling, and feel your belly kind of move up into your hands on your inhale. And exhale, lower down. One more breath just like that. And then let your hands move upwards, maybe onto your breasts or onto your rib cage, or maybe a combination of both. And we're breathing into the middle lobes of the lungs here. So we're taking a breath in. And we're breathing out, and maybe you can feel and sense a little squeezing out of the concertina. And inhaling, expanding, feeling the ribcage expanding out and up and back in all directions. And then maybe take the tips of your fingers just up onto your chest, your collarbones, and breathe into your upper chest. And here, sense that you're kind of fanning the flame of your thymus gland and encouraging that sense of innate immunity within the system of your body. Chest just rising and falling. And then when you're ready, just release your arms down beside you, maybe onto the bolster. You could even, if the Prithvi Mudra works for you, you could take your hands back into Prithvi Mudra, and you could rest Prithvi Mudra on to your bolster or on the ground. And now we're going to join those three breaths together, and we're going to take maybe a count of 10 to breathe in. So it's a fairly long inhalation and a fairly long exhalation, but it's so deeply calming for the body to take a long, slow breath in and out. Often when we move into fight or flight, we're panting. But when we breathe slowly and smoothly, we're calming the body and the mind. So let's see how we go by just kind of tuning into our belly, our rib cage, and our upper chest, inhaling for the count of 10. And exhaling for the count of 10. And as you exhale, you're emptying from the top all the way to the bottom. Inhaling for 10. Exhaling for 10. Emptying from top to bottom and filling from bottom to top. Keep going, a few more rounds on your own, just being curious, exploring the feeling of this movement of breath in your body. Two more rounds. Last one. And then let that breath pattern go. Release the mudra from your hands and place your hands now wherever they feel comfortable, and notice the state of your body and your mind. And maybe take your right hand onto your belly and just give a nice little massage from the right side of your abdomen all the way across those lower ribs and down to the left, circling and moving up the ascending colon across and then down the descending, and being really gentle and kind. And you might even create some little circular movements and feel the warmth of your hands just really nicely, gently dropping into your belly, into your spleen, into your stomach. And you might just hold your hands either side of your belly button. You've got some spleen points there, and just let the elbows anchor down, let your hands be heavy, and let the warmth, your own healing hands, drop warmth and healing light into your belly. So much of our nervous system is contained in our gut. And so sometimes these stomach and belly practices can be deeply, deeply calming for our entire system. When you feel ready, you can begin to remove your hands and then gently pull those feet back one at a time and press down into your feet to lift your lower back off the bolster, and then just slide it down under the backs of your thighs or under the backs of your knees. And take a moment here to reach your right hand up and lift that right shoulder blade off the mat and lay that down. And then lift your left arm up and reach your fingers, lift that left shoulder blade up off the ground and lay your left arm down. And then reach your right heel off the ground and push that foot away. And then same with the left, just lift up your left heel and push the foot away, and then lay both feet down. And drop into the body, drop into the breath, letting your bones get heavy, muscles soft, opening up to this current experience. Again, curiosity. Curiously exploring the sensations alive right now in your fingertips, in your toe tips, in your hands and your feet, in your ankles and your wrists, your forearms and your lower legs, your knees and your elbows, your upper arms and your upper legs, the shoulder joints and the hips, And drawing your attention deeply into the core of your spine, allowing your spine to lay like an open seam. Sense a gentle plugging into earth, deep nourishment of Gaia, the Earth Mother, feeding into the core of your spine, the open seam of your spine right now. Enjoying that sense of stillness and quiet. Letting yourself drop into a deep reservoir of healing and spaciousness. When you're ready, begin to deepen your breath, wriggling your fingers and your toe tips. You might even move your head a little bit side to side and then drag your feet in, and your feet might even come and land on top of that bolster. You could roll the bolster away if you like. And then nice and slow, just roll to your right side and pause there. So it's really easy for us to roll straight up and out of our practice to get going. But pause here for a breath. Signal to your nervous system that we're about to move. And then use your left hand to press into the earth, making your way back up to a seated position, maybe with your eyes closed, maybe not. And then join your fingertips, your thumb tips, each fingertip joining to its corresponding fingertip on the other hand. Hakini Mudra, the mudra of integration. And you might hold Hakini Mudra in your lap or in front of your heart. And just sense within this Hakini Mudra is a beautiful gemstone, reflecting out, reflecting in the light of your practice, touching all beings everywhere. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Close the palms. And when you feel to, open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed that practice. May you be well. Namaste.